And if you had a chance, and without them breaking into emotion, to question them, and you see these, I've played the clips. All right, tell me what Donald Trump has done, for example, and you could hate him. That's a fair sentiment. What has Donald Trump done to harm democracy? They have no idea. They have no idea. They don't even know how to answer. They're stunned. They're getting called on their stupidity because the stupidity is accepted. Quite something. These are scary people. I will tell you, if you're an employer, it might make sense to be on the fringes of a no Kings rally to see who you should not hire because they're idiots. Somebody says, I'm going to be a vendor at the No Kings rally in Wilkes-Barre. I'll be selling veggie burritos, tampons, blue hair dye, and a limited edition Joe Biden, no, I won't, a dildo. Yeah, okay, a dildo. For anyone that's interested, says Bruce from Nanaco. By the way, if you're selling them hot dogs, you're clever because their money's green. But be careful. They're really stupid. You may have to give them instructions on how to eat the hot dog. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute, brought to you, as always, by our man John Basiliga. Today, well, it's Friday, so we're featuring the Basiliga Hospitality Group, and it is amazing. The Queen City Tavern, the Far Street Tavern, Queen City and Oliphant, Far Street in the Trips Park section of West Scranton, and then the amazing Old Brook Inn 307 Springbrook Township. I was there last night, and it is off the charts good. Fine dining, amazing bars, the Atera 519 downtown Scranton, the Stegmeyer Mansion downtown Wilkes-Barre. Talk about Annie, the bartender, there all the time. Sergei's, the nightclub. It'll be hopping. It'll be the place to be all weekend. Scranton Art House, amazing movie house, the place to watch your feature film and get served any kind of food you want from their great kitchen. Dominic Steffen. We lost him February 4th. He was 89. He was from Pittston. Born in that great city to the late Dominic and Mary DeStefano. Dominic was a member of Our Lady of the Eucharist Parish, Pittston. He graduated from Pittston Township High School, class of 1954. He loved football and baseball in his youth. Had fond memories of selling blueberries, caddying at the nearby golf courses, and working as a pleater with his brother Anthony in the local garment industry growing up. His favorite dish was his mother's Jumbolt. We butcher these names, Italians do. So it's Jumbolt. I couldn't figure out what it's Jumbolt vegetable soup. He proudly served all of us in the United States Army, 1955 to 1958, during which time he traveled by ship to England and then by rail to Germany, where he was stationed. He went on to earn a bachelor's degree in accounting from King's College and served as a certified public accountant locally and in the Poconos. He's survived by his beloved wife of 63 years, Olga Ermolovich Steffen, his daughters, his cherished grandsons, his brother, and many other family members. Dominic Steffen, our veteran this hour, brought to you by the man, John Basiliga, and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. AccuWeather forecast. Spring has sprung, but the weather's not quite cooperating, and it's all brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain Resort. They're not responsible for the weather. Today, breezy and cooler, cloudy this morning, then a blend of sun and clouds this afternoon, 45. We'll see if I can take the Chauncey for a walk. Tonight, clear and colder, breezy late, down to 21. Tomorrow, breezy and chilly with intervals of clouds and sun. An afternoon shower in spots, high 42, low 27. Great day to stay home, in my view. Sunday, partial sunshine. It's expected to get up to as high as 56 degrees, the low 38. Monday, some sun, then turning cloudy with a shower in places in the afternoon, high 61, low 49. Tuesday, thick cloud cover and warmer, high 72, low 60. So, as Snedeker's been telling us, a warm-up next week because they've already swung into spring up at Montage Mountain Resorts, and they're bringing you all of this. And right now on Montage Mountain, 38 degrees. Now, that's serendipity that we're playing The Who with I Can't Explain juxtaposition with that idiot. Again, they're all idiots. I'm sorry to say it. They might be nice people in their other lives. A tiny percentage might actually be good at their jobs. It's unbelievable. That's typical. There's your No Kings rallier right there. Misspelling fascism, not having a clue what it is. These are scary, stupid people. I hate to steal from Jimmy Fallon, but this is weapons grade stupid. This is who they are. This is the insanity. By the way, you can reach us at 570-883-0098 by call or by text. Somebody texts in, Bob, we're paying over $250,000 in salaries in Luzerne County to the Bureau of Elections, and they can't even proofread a ballot correctly. Do we have more errors? More errors? Wow. Somebody says, oh, Bulldog. And they're saying, good morning, Bulldog. I'm at work. I usually watch Bob live on the computer, but is there a reason why he's not live, says Grace from Wyoming. Bulldog, did you turn? I can't. How do we find it? We better get some ironclad. He's on the phone. We're going to have to get some ironclad instructions for you, Grace. I apologize. Yeah, I've been having a hard time getting the live stream, which I think, it's a decent. By the way, it's a backup when maybe the app is not working or whatever. It's a good backup. Somebody say, hey, Rob, we went from Easter egg hunt for the kids at Public Square, Wilkes-Barre, to a No Kings rally. Boy, times have changed, says Joe from Sawyersville. Rich McHale texts in, did you notice, he says, that even Burger King fired the king from their commercials. I know. By the way, it's the second time they've fired them. I have no problem. Do you have a problem with Burger King? Like, I like it. McDonald's, I like a little bit better. But sometimes that charbroiled taste, I want Burger King. Like, I still love the Whopper. Minus onions. Like, it's great. Somebody says the libtards need a cartoon in the paper. Like those old Love Is cartoons changed to Fascism Is. And I love the fact that the idiot had it spelled fascism. This is how stupid they are. I'm protesting against something I can't define and I can't even spell it. Unreal. It's sad. Hey, let's take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, No Kings Rallies. Oh, boy. It's a collection of some of the dumbest people on the planet. We'll be back. Jefferson Airplane. Murph tells us his date, 1967. They released their hit, Somebody to Love. I know I'm an old fogey, but like I'm listening to music like Jefferson Airplane from when I was 6. And we play, more up-to-date music, obviously, into the teens, certainly into this century. And I think that is not going to last. Like, people aren't going to be remembering that music the way they remember the old music. They're just not. We want to play it, and we're going to keep playing it. Murph finds it. But I'm like, no, this ain't going to stand up. This will not stand the test of time. People won't be listening to this 50 years from now with fond remembrance. In any event, my friend Grace found the video. So she found the live stream. It's hard. You got to go to WILKnewsradio.com. They moved something. And then you've got to go to the little dashes and press the dashes up in the left corner. And then there's on air. You go on air, and then you got to press Bob Cordaro Show, and it pops up. So we're here. I've got my Avalon shirt on, so you know you're watching today's program. Somebody said, Bob LTS, I finally found sanity on my way home from work, 7 a.m. to 8:15 a.m. I get Odyssey and put on your show from the previous day. Well, I am beyond honored. I really am. Joe from Trips Park texted, Bob, pardon my ignorance, but if we were to secure the Strait of Hormuz, can and should we be able to place a tariff on all the oil we helped move and protect? Well, Trump's going to get the best financial deal for us, no matter what the circumstances. He truly is America first, and it's very important. By the way, our congressman, Rob Bresnahan, and I had a little birdie let me know about this. They have a baseball game. They have this. I didn't know they had a hockey game. There's a congressional, actually a D.C., it's broader than the Congress, a D.C. hockey game. And Rob's an old hockey player. We interview Ray Giroux from the Scranton Knights all the time because it's our amazing hockey program right here. Well, Rob Bresnahan was a hockey player. Now, in the old days in Congress, you ingratiated yourself with the leadership and became close with them and bonded with them by drinking, smoking, and playing cards. Well, that's not the case anymore. You do it by sports. And something like hockey, which is not many Congress people and politicians can play. Well, Rob's an old goalie. And so they asked him, Chelsea gets him this uniform that says Northeast PA on it, NEPA. And he played goalie last night. and there's pictures of him warming up with Kash Patel, the head of the FBI. Well, that's how you make connections. I always brag about how he is the most effective first-term congressman I've ever seen. Well, here's another example. And there will be benefits from him being the goalie. Amazing. That's great stuff. But in any event. And I beyond that, he's got his not-so-secret weapon, Chelsea, his wife. They're just great together. They're fun. And these are really talented, quality people. To even put Paige Cognetti in the same breath as them is an embarrassment. It really is. Just drive on my street. You'll get the picture. All right, let's see if we can get to the blower here real quick. Greg from Sawyersville. How are you, Greg?
Good, Bob. Hey, I've attended those No Kings rallies from across the street as a Republican. Mm-hmm. They're nasty people.
Oh, they are. Yes, they're bad people. They're not good people. Some are nice, I'm sure.
We were across the street with a Trump sign.
Yeah.
And they had They even had their young kids giving us the finger, and it was shocking.
They're low lives. I'm telling. Well, look at stupidity doesn't come alone.
This little girl was had her gaze on us for about 15 minutes with both fingers up, and it was shocking. And her mother was right next to her giving us the fingers.
Oh my God!
We did have a megaphone. So we added to it. But we just told them the truth, you know.
They can't handle the truth. They literally can't.
We said George Floyd was a drug addict on fentanyl.
Yep.
And we said don't take a knee. We said open the borders, stuff like that on the megaphone. Real truthful stuff.
Yep. Well, I'm happy you did that. Look at people that stupid need to be confronted with their stupidity. At least a little bit. They can't just wallow in it because they actually convince themselves that their idiocy is correct.
Oh, they believe it. And I'll tell you, there's a couple hundred. They're very – I told our party, and I'm a Republican committeeman, I said, we're going to get our asses kicked. I said, there's 200 or 300 people at these No Kings rallies at Public Square. And our party was telling us, oh, ignore them. They'll go away. And like, no, they killed us in November.
Yeah.
They
listen.
every seat.
They will look at. They're motivated. That's the one thing you could say. They're paid and motivated, and the money's there for them, and that's the driving force of the Democrat Party. It's a scary thing. It really is.
Yeah, well, if there's 200 or 300 there, there's about 2 paid people. The rest of them are zealot, Wilkes-Barre, Luzerne County residents, leftists. There's very few people paid. You couldn't pay them to come. They're enjoying it, and they're pumped up. And I'm predicting a massacre in the midterms. You know, Trump did lose 41 congressmen in 2018.
Oh, it could happen. But here's the thing, though. We have to keep reminding everybody: if conservatives, if normal people actually vote, that's the problem. The sickos will vote. If normal people will vote and realize they're turning things over to these clowns, we could do better. I'm always an optimist, but you're right. It could be a bloodbath.
Right. I'm the doomsayer, but I do it for a reason, to let people know we're in trouble. But we can win every election forever if we could come out and vote.
Yes.
And, forget about cheating, mail-ins. We could overcome all that if we just vote. 86 million people did not vote in 24. Mm-hmm. And, half of them were Republicans. Mm-hmm. So whoever can get their people out to vote is winning. We're in trouble in 28.
We know they could get their people out to vote. We know they can.
They're coming out. Listen, they're fueled on hate, Bob.
Yep.
And hate is a very good motivator for voting. Our people are passive. Our Republicans don't. We have too many people chasing rhinos and sitting out elections because of a rhino. Listen, don't worry about the rhinos.
That's
we'll
right.
Take care of them. Let's win some elections. But that's causing a lot of Republicans. In Luzerne County, I have to tell you, as a Republican committeeman, I've taken a back seat. Our party is so filled with hate. We're so busy attacking each other, we don't even know that there's a Democrat.
Yep.
It's really bad. It's really bad.
But Greg, we're not going to give up because there's too much to fight for. This is the greatest country. And by the way, I'm happy that you're going to, that you participate in these things. I really am.
Saturday. We'll be here Saturday, and I'm going to do a video. I always send you stuff.
Good.
And but it's really bad because they're motivated, and nationally it doesn't bode well for us unless our people vote. If we vote, we got it. We got this.
By the way, a lot of them could get committed to mental institutions before the election. Let's hope for that. Let's hope for that for the good of everybody. Yeah.
They have like 4 or 5 huge big American flags upside down. And that's disrespectful.
Dear God.
And
they're sick people. They're meant. There's
upside down
you go to this
American
No Kings
flag.
protest. There's stupidity. There's mental illness spread throughout it. Greg, we got to go because it's way past news time. Thank you, and thanks for what you do. Call them out on their idiocy. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. My Picardo's watch says, wow, 10:03 and change. I'm really late. We'll be back. Great good morning, everyone. 10:11 a.m. on my Cordaro Jewelers watch here in the great Northeast. This beautiful Friday, March 27, 2026. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man, John Basiliga, and his great Basiliga hospitality group, and I mean it, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we lost this year, but celebrate today, thanks to John, like Dominic Steffen of Pittston, Patrick Welk of South Abington Township, Joseph Farver of Berwick. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle, gaveling back to order with an actual gavel and, what do they call them? Soundboard, provided by the Slabjacker. We re-adjourn this meeting, not re-adjourn, we re-meet this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our commitment to common sense is so ironclad that we will provide a sanctuary of sanity for you in a world in which so many of the establishment, from public unions to the media to academia, and certainly the Democrat Party, have gone insane. You need the sanctuary of sanity. You truly do. Well, tomorrow night, Saturday, March 20th, I can't believe time is flying this quickly, 7 o'clock at the Great Waldorf Park Banquet Room, there is an event called Laugh for Life. And it's a fundraiser for our friends at Pennsylvanians for Human Life. And David Kay is there. We talked to him last week. And another guy he's a local guy. Another comedian by the name of Tim Conniff is with them. And he's with us right now. Tim, welcome to the Bob Cordaro Show. How are you, my man?
I am great, Bob. How are you?
I'm good. We're very excited to have you back in town.
Oh, man, I'm excited to come back. I'm excited to be on your show. I called one of my friends this morning bragging that I'm going to be on your show, and she started singing the little song you just played. So your branding is working tremendously.
There we go. We don't brand. We just be as dumb as we are, and it works.
It is working. It is working.
All right. So, Tim, you're primarily based in Philadelphia, but you're from here. Give us a little of your background.
Yeah. So I live in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, down in Bucks County, a couple hours away. But I was born and raised in the comedy mecca of Einan, Pennsylvania.
There you go.
People are very surprised when I get introduced that I come out and I don't have a mullet and I have teeth. And what's going on? Yeah, well, Einan's gotten a lot better through the years.
Hey, our bishop came from Einan. Stop it.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So you tell us what made you embark on this career? And you're a professional. This is what you do for a living.
It is. So it's really funny. My journey began fall semester 1989 at the University of Scranton, Speech Comm 101. And Professor Taylor gave us a very interesting assignment. The assignment was to go out of our comfort zone and come back and give a speech about it. Now, I was a broke college kid living in Einan, so like skydiving was out of the question. There was no way that was happening. And I happened to see an ad in the Philadelphia Inquirer for a comedy open mic, and I was like, okay, this might work. So I hopped into my luxurious brown Ford Tempo. Do you remember Ford Tempos, Bob?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, it was like the UPS truck left behind a little turd. That's what I was driving. When your parents give you a brown Ford Tempo to drive, they're basically saying, "Son, we do not want you having premarital sex." That's out of the question. So I jump in there. I drive 3 hours from Einan to Center City, Philadelphia. I wait in line with 37 other comedians, and finally my number got called. And I climbed up on that big stage, stand in those big bright lights, and for 5 minutes, I told jokes to drunk Philadelphians, the worst kinds, the absolute worst kind. And I got laughs. I can't remember one joke I told that night, but I got laughs.
Yeah. How about that?
I wanted to record it, but I left my phone at home attached to the wall in my mom's kitchen.
Philly, yeah, they're tough crowds. They're tough.
Oh my God.
And so,
Yeah, when I heard
that was the magic. That's what you said. I can do this. This is amazing.
Well, yeah, it's funny you say that because for the next 30 years, I did nothing with it. Nothing. I got busy, with my career, being a husband, a dad, a coach, got busy selling pills for a pharmaceutical company before you read into that one too much. And then as the kids got older and stopped doing their travel sports and all that, I went to a comedy open mic here at the Comedy Cabaret in Doylestown. And that night, it was December of 21. And I saw these 10, 15 comedians go up there, and I had to do exactly what you said, and I can do that moment.
Yeah.
And I went home and I emailed the club owner. I said, I want to get on your next open mic. He said, you're on January 7th, 2022. So I gathered up the jokes again, got up on stage, and this time I told jokes for 5 minutes to drunk people in the suburbs.
What was the reaction? Good, obviously.
The owner pulled me aside after it. And he said, that was really good. He said, and I quote, usually the first time sucks. He said, I want to bring you back, give you 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes. He's like, let's see where it goes. He said, maybe in a few years, you'll host a show. He said, it takes a really long time to learn stand-up comedy. So I started going back each week, and I started to meet all these national touring headliners who said, hey, you're funny, you're clean, you're professional, and I could put you in my room in Jersey, Delaware. I got booked in Scranton. Before you know it, that first year, I had almost 70 paid gigs. Within 6 months, I was the host of that show, and tomorrow, Saturday, I'll be performing at the Waldorf Room in Scranton.
Love it. Tim Conniff is our guest. He is a national comedian who's going to be with us tomorrow night, Northeast Pennsylvania, at the Waldorf Park Banquet Room up on East Mountain. Laugh for Life is the cause. Great stuff. Tim, it's amazing to make that jump. I had two of my kids. They did stand up in New York, and I said,
oh, wow.
and I always ask them, there's a big leap. And when I was in prison, I used to ask the bank robbers in particular, what made you actually finish robbing the bank? Everybody thinks they could. Well, it's the same thing with comedy. Now you're up there.
Well, the interesting perspective is I have all the respect in the world for what you do, because when I was a communication major at the U, I thought I was going to go into radio. I thought I'd be the next, Howard Stern. And I'll tell you what, I did not just to be able to speak into that microphone. You could give me a mic and put me in 150, 300 people in a room, get up there, tell jokes, put myself out there, no problem. But to speak into that mic, not get any reaction, not know whether your jokes are working, whether people are listening, turning it off, I didn't like it. I couldn't do that, but I could do it in front of live people.
Well, Tim Conniff, have you modeled any of your routine that you're going to use tomorrow based on Northeast Pennsylvania?
Well, listen, last time I was up there, it had been a while since I was up there. So I thought, I have a little extra time on my hand. I wonder what else I could do. So I Googled the top 20 things to do in Northeastern Pennsylvania. And we need to talk, Bob. We need to talk.
Well,
14 out of the top 20 things to do in Northeastern Pennsylvania are bars, wineries, and psychics.
I'm in. Well, not with the psychics.
Tells me my people are hurting, but hopeful.
Well, we are excited to have you here tomorrow night, especially for a great cause like Pennsylvanians for Human Life. It's Laugh for Life tomorrow night at the Waldorf Park Banquet Room, East Mountain section of Scranton. And Tim Conniff is going to be with David Kay, who I found out is a Polak, by the way. I uncovered that rather quickly. And that's a nom de plume or nom de performance. And I just think this is one of the most innovative fundraisers I've seen, and leave it to our Pennsylvanians for Human Life to do it.
Yeah. Well, listen. First of all, this one means a lot to me. Our oldest son is adopted, so this is a cause that's very near and dear to my heart. And I would encourage everyone to come out and listen. If David and I aren't funny, we turn it into a no comedians rally. Storm us. We can do it.
Oh, that's great stuff. Tim Conniff, thank you very much. We're excited to having you perform here tomorrow night, and I hope you have a lot of fun.
Thanks, Bob. I really appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
And you're welcome back anytime. You want to, test out some routine with this audience, we're here.
Oh, I will let you know. Thanks. I would love it. I love getting back up there to perform and speaking to the great people of Northeast PA.
All right. Tim Conniff, thank you so much. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. The Beatles. This date, 1968, Murph says they had the number one hit in the UK with that great song, Lady Madonna. Somebody says, No Kings, brought to you by the party that arrested people at the beach over a cold. And another Bob, well, the same person, the listener. Bob, where was the No Kings protest when Fauci was dictating who would go to work or not over an experimental vaccine? They're phonies. They're stupid. We can't pretend that there's any intelligence there. If there was a Geiger counter for intelligence and you waved it over the No Kings protests tomorrow, you'd get no reaction. I mean, zero. Literally zero. Bob, it's so hard to believe, but I can see it now since Trump became president. We have so many globalist entities in America trying to destroy and divide our country. And that's what they're doing. We mentioned Singham. We know Soros. A lot of you don't know about the Arabella Group, which is a collection of billionaire money. And these are people devoted to the destruction of the United States and its culture. And that's who these fools are following. That's who's paying them. That's who's giving them their signs. They're all stupid. Absolutely stupid. Somebody says, why don't you mention that the last No Kings protest in Wilkes-Barre, the only one who got arrested was a MAGA supporter for pulling out a gun? We can't account for everybody. I don't know that he was a MAGA supporter, by the way. Tell me who's stupid and violent again. Okay, I'll tell you. You're stupid and you're violent. Yeah, there it is. You asked me to tell you, it's you. You're an idiot. You're a clown. You're a liar. You're a phony. You're a disgrace. And you have no idea what you're protesting about. Literally none. Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, that's it. There you go. Senator John Fetterman recently stated openly to media outlets and online, the No King protests are a total waste of time. Fetterman said the Democrat Party needs to concentrate on negotiating common sense narratives with the Republican Party that benefits every American, not protest nonsense. And the entire protest is based on lies. The entire protest. It's insane. Somebody actually defending George Floyd. Now, here's an idiot, okay? And I'm sorry. I love you, but you're really weapons-grade stupid. George Floyd was a drug addict. No, I'm sorry. This is not. You know what else he was? He was a human being, Bob. Okay. Well, all right. What's your point? We didn't know he was human? You think that's a point? And they say he was murdered by a bad cop. He was not. Here's George Floyd, career criminal, violent career criminal. He's in a store passing counterfeit money. The store owner calls the cops. The cops arrive. Well, he also has a bunch of illegal fentanyl on him. When the cops come, he ingests it. He killed himself with an overdose. Now, the idiot Derek Chauvin, instead of calling for help, subdues him with a standard police tactic. And boy, did he pay the price for that mistake. He's in jail. What did he get, a 20-year sentence or more? He wasn't a bad cop. He was stupid and made the wrong decision at that moment. But that's not why George Floyd died. Oh, and by the way, for all the other jackasses, it had nothing to do with race. A career criminal, a violent criminal, he stuffed and ingested the illegal fentanyl he had on him to not get caught, and it killed him. That's the facts. You want to keep lying that he was murdered? You want to live a lie? Well, then you're perfect for the No Kings rally. Somebody says, isn't it ironic that the Scranton No Kings rally is being led by Billy Little Boy King Gaughan? Yeah, the boy King, he ran county government by itself, filed lawsuits and everything by himself, illegally. These people they're truly idiots. It's unbelievable. Oh, my God. You're scaring me. I want you to come back to real life. I really do. I'm rooting for you to find your sanity. Stop being stupid. Believe me, you're detracting from your family, your relationships, what you do for the community by running around chasing lies. Stop it. Grow up. Unbelievable. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll come back with our Veterans Tribute. We've got more. We have my friend Walter Griffith on the phone. He's calling in. And, Walter, I hope you could have some patience with me about this another error on the Luzerne County ballot. It's hearts be still. Let's hear from our great sponsors. We'll do the Veterans Tribute. And guess what? We got a little sunshine coming your way. We'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour, as with every hour, this day as with every day, brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. And today, because it's Friday, we feature Basiliga Hospitality. Two of the best, most beautiful fine dining restaurants anywhere and I mean anywhere. The Stegmeyer Mansion, downtown Wilkes-Barre, the Mary Stegmeyer Mansion. Don't forget about the bed and breakfast in all of Pennsylvania, the Fred Stegmeyer Mansion. But the Mary Stegmeyer Mansion, amazing bar, great dining, and an amazing event space. A Terra 519. The most gorgeous restaurant you're going to see, downtown Scranton. I can't wait to get there this weekend. Then they've got 3 amazing bar restaurants. The Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. Was there a couple of weeks ago with my man Larry and Danielle, his wife. It was awesome. Awesome. I'm still thinking about the mushroom soup. The Far Street Tavern. The best bar food, some of the best drinks you'll ever have. The reimagined neighborhood tradition in the Trips Park section of West Scranton. And last night, QDI and the Palucci's went to the Old Brook Inn. It was off the charts good. 307 Springbrook Township. Patrick Welk. We lost him March 16th. He was from South Abington Township. He was the husband of the late Margaret Holsworth Welk, whom he lost in in 2024. Born in Brooklyn, New York, he graduated from St. John's Prep in 1957 and then honorably served this country in the United States Air Force. Pat worked as a senior systems analyst for MetLife here in Northeast PA for over 30 years, beginning his career in Manhattan before relocating to South Abington Township. He was a devoted parishioner of Our Lady of the Snows Parish and was a member of the Knights of Columbus. Pat was actively involved in the community, coaching, umpiring in the Little League up there, CYO basketball, Abington Girls All-Star softball team. Loved to golf, cycle. His daily morning school van runs. Pat survived by 2 sons, 2 daughters, a brother, 10 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. In addition to his wife, who was the love of his life, he was tragically preceded in death by a grandchild, Cowan Cumler. Patrick Welk, our great veteran this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. AccuWeather forecast brought to us by our friends at Montage Mountain Resort. They're swinging into spring. There's always something happening at Montage. Check them out. Today, breezy and cooler. Cloudy this morning, then a blend of sun and clouds this afternoon. It'll be about 45 degrees. Tonight, clear and colder. Breezy late, 21. It's 37 degrees at Montage Mountain right now. Tomorrow, breezy and chilly with intervals of clouds and sun. An afternoon shower in spots, 42. The low of 27. Sunday, partial sunshine. It may climb up to 56 degrees with a low of 38. Then Monday, Tuesday, it's going to get warmer. 61 Monday, as much as 72 on Tuesday with a low of only 60. So a warm up for the beginning of April. And all of that brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain Resort. We love them. You know what that means. That means Tina Morocco's in the house. Global Sales Advisor, Premier of Sotheby's International, Naples, Florida. She is your trusted guide to Florida real estate, specializing in Southwest Florida. She can be reached through Sotheby's International in Naples or Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com. How are you, girl?
Well, it's 80 degrees and sunny here, so how do you think?
Man, it's hard to have a bad day down there, isn't it?
It really is.
Oh, but people try nevertheless.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
tell me, Tina, what's happening? What's on your mind today?
Well, let's talk about Pine Island today. We haven't talked about Pine Island
I've
before.
never heard of it. Please do.
Okay. So Pine Island is an island just northwest of Cape Coral. It's not a big island, but it's not small either. It's about 17 miles, and it's about 2 miles wide, so it's like long and skinny.
Wow.
And there's several different cities within Pine Island. When you're headed over the bridge from Cape Coral to Pine Island, it's Matlacha. And Matlacha is like these colorful little cottages, artsy boutique type things. And then you get over to Pine Island, and it's St. James City, Bokeelia, and Matlacha is over there too. So Pine Island's really famous for fishing and fruit and old Florida. So,
Wow.
Yeah. So
And how do you
first
get
got
there?
to know-
Is there a bridge? Or?
Yeah. So there's a bridge that's in northwest Cape Coral that goes over Burnt Store Road, goes over there. Pine Island Road goes over there. And then you kind of just go over the water, and it's just, I'm telling you, it's like old Florida over there. We started going over there. My parents started going over there years and years ago in their RV. Like, they came down before they were snowbirds.
Yeah.
They would come down for a month or two and, park there. And they loved all the waterfront restaurants and just kind of like this laid back old Florida vibe of being there. And so now things have changed a little bit. It's getting a little bit busier there. But I will say a lot of the restaurants around here have their fishing boats parked in Pine Island because the fishing there is so good. It's the grouper, the snapper, the shrimp, even the stone crabs. All the fishing boats are up there. But also the tropical fruit orchards there are really interesting. We've got the mangoes, the avocados, the jackfruit, the star fruit, the lychee, everything there. So it's really kind of an interesting farming and fishing and but like lots of like old Florida kind of hippies, that kind of vibe.
Yeah. So you think in Pine Island? Well, what kind of real estate do they have?
Yeah, so they have all kinds of real estate there, and I was actually just looking on the MLS. They have everything from little manufactured homes to big estates that are on the water. And so the price points there range from like in the 200,000 to like all the way up to about 6 million. So they've got everything in between. What they don't have a lot of is just plain condos. Like that is not an area that is like inundated with the condos yet.
Yeah.
So they have a lot of like waterfront like homes and things like that. But and I would say there's some new construction there, but it's definitely not like a Naples or a Marco Island where, you get a lot of those waterfront high-rise condos.
And how far is it from Naples? Or actually, more importantly,
Yeah.
how far is it from Fort Myers Airport?
So from Fort Myers Airport, it's probably, I would say, half an hour, maybe 40 minutes. Just depends on what part of Pine Island you want to get to.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not a far trip, especially if you're going to be there for a week or so. Just to visit, but it's definitely like if you're looking for like a laid back old Florida type of thing, and if you like to fish, there's a ton of charter fishing boats that go out there. And if you just like to, kind of bar hop, there's a lot of like waterfront bars there that have live music, and it's just like laid back. So when you're thinking like Jimmy Buffett type of things,
Yeah.
it's that type of place. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
What is it? Pine Island?
Mm-hmm. Pine Island, yeah.
Never heard of it.
The cities are Bokeelia, Matlacha, St. James City.
How neat.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
So the Mango Festival, I was going to say the Mango Festival is in the summertime there. All different types of mangoes. There's probably, I don't even know, I'm just guessing at least 20 different types of mangoes there. And
but during the Mango Festival, they continue to serve drinks, though, right?
Mango margaritas, Bob. Come on.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Mango mojitos, mango. I mean, we could do mango anything.
Well, that is great stuff. Pine Island.
Yeah.
I've got to
Pine Island.
think
It's
about
in Lee
this.
County, so same county as Fort Myers, Cape Coral. But just northwest of Cape Coral.
And,
Definitely a place to check out.
and Tina Morocco will get you there. Tina
Of course.
Morocco, MURACCO.com. And you can reach her that way or through Premier Sotheby's International in Naples. Tina, thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you soon, Bob.
I'm learning every week with you. Have a great weekend, my dear.
You too. Take care.
All right. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. George Harrison, one of my favorite songs. 1971, this date, Murph says he was moved into the top 10 charts at number 5 with his hit, What Is Life? Someone texting in about Derek Chauvin, the cop who kneeled on George Floyd's neck, that he was a bad cop and had other instances. Okay, fine. I don't know the point. George Floyd died because he ingested too much fentanyl, which he had on his possession with the intent to use or sell in the commission of a crime, a different crime. And it had nothing to do with race. The whole incident had nothing to do with race. But that's what the lunatics turned it into, and you guys all fell for it. And if you're still falling for it, shame on you. Stop being stupid. And it's the same people running off to the No Kings rallies, the same idiots. They've either got skin in the game or they're stupid. There's no choices here. And when I think of that, I got to think of something great, which is Mother Teresa for March 27th. She says, unless there is forgiveness, there will be no peace. St. Teresa for March 27th. Amen on that. Now, forgiveness, I will add, has to be granted to those who, number one, seek it, and number two, understand they've actually done something wrong. For it to be fully effective. You can forgive everybody, and you should. But the Ayatollahs in Iran, I say kill them. Let's go to Walter Griffith. Walter, how are you? There's another ballot error in Luzerne County. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, exactly. And so you talk about stupid, you talk about incompetent. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Well, we have the Bureau of Elections who can't proofread a ballot. They put an article in the newspaper yesterday that said that they want the public to look at the ballot and give them any problems that they may see. So when I open up the Republican ballot, the very first line of the very first ballot, there's a problem. Instruction number 1 says, to vote, you must completely blacken the oval to the right of your choice. A box darkened to the left of any candidate indicates a vote for that candidate. Now, you can't tell me that's not going to confuse voters. Number 1, there's no oval because they're a square box. Number 2, there's nothing to the right of the candidate. And number 3 is this is our first year for using paper ballots in the county. These people are going to have no idea what to do with that ballot. But the biggest problem I have is we're paying the county employees. The division head's making $100,000 a year. The director of elections is making $77,000 a year. The deputy director is making about $60,000 a year. And of those 3 people, not one person caught this. It's in black bold print. Not one person caught that before they put it up online.
And there's a company producing these.
Yeah, and they sent these and they put these ballots out there for the public to see, to give them input as to whether we see anything that they missed. And they missed the very first line, and that's only on the Republican ballot, okay? So then you look at the Democratic ballot, and at the bottom of the Democratic ballot, because they're voting for committee people this year in the election, they write Democratic, not Democrat, Democratic County Committee Man, write in your choice here, right? First of all, the Democrats don't know what a man or a woman is, so why would you put that word in that sentence, committee man? Wouldn't it be committee person? Because they are gender neutral after all.
Well,
right?
let's let them worry about it. But Walter, let's let them worry about their gender nonsense. Yeah, let them worry about it.
Second of all, why would you put down Democratic? It's a Democrat county committeeman. These people, are they that incompetent? Are they that stupid? I mean, what are we doing here in Luzerne County that we can't figure this out on a simple paper ballot? It's 2 pages. And then they ask the public to give them input. Why are we paying you people $250,000 if you want us to find simple mistakes? Now, if you spelled somebody's name wrong, like Alex Ridkevich, Now, that might be another issue. But, you have to look through every ballot to see whose name is spelled now.
My word.
When they can't even see the bold print right. This is ridiculous.
Every election, there's this kind of idiocy. It goes back to Romelda Crocamo. It goes back to the executive director who's getting paid a couple $100,000 a year. Would you not laser focus on this department, and at some point you've got to move people out of there?
And they are, and supposedly they are laser focused, according to Romelda Crocamo years ago, is her mission was to make sure that this department has no errors, error-free elections. We have yet to see that. And council sits back as their boss, and they never write any of this stuff up in her personnel file. Never. There's no reprimands for anybody in the county. We have inmates that are getting beat up and killed, and then we settle lawsuits, but there's no reprimands for no CO officers that did that. Nothing. We just keep doling out cash to settlements for people that sue the county, and nobody's held accountable for anything. We just have a never-ending supply of cash.
Well, Walter Griffiths, it's a shame it's a shame that you're not in office to watch over these things, but we appreciate you continuing to do so. We really do.
Well, thanks, Bob. Appreciate the time, bud.
Thank you, Walter. Walter
LCS.
Griffith. He's our man. He should be the controller. Hey, Bacardo Jewelers, and my watch of the same name tells me it's 11:01. That means we've got to go to the news. Paula Degnan, they bring her back. And we'll take a break and be back after that. You know it, baby. Great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Friday, March 27th, a year of our Lord, 20 and 26. And it is 11:08 a.m. on my Cordaro Jewelers watch here in the great Northeast on this beautiful day. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values. And with the help of our man, John Basiliga, and his great Basiliga hospitality group, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate today, thanks to John. Like Patrick Welk, South Abingdon Township. Dominic Steffen, Need DeStefano, Pittston. Joseph Farver, Berwick. And so with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our commitment to common sense is so deep, it's so rich, it's so multi-layered, that we will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you in a world in which academia, the vast majority of the media, the entire Democrat Party have gone insane. We need this sanctuary. Believe me, we do. Hey, we've got coming up momentarily Brady Knox from the Washington Examiner to discuss, you could call it an expansion of the war in the Middle East. But Israel is looking, as they continue to strike Lebanon, where Hezbollah is based. And he's saying Hezbollah is no longer an independent proxy from Iran. It's now being directly run from Tehran. And you're wondering why activity is happening in that sad country. It's because Hezbollah is in control of so much of it. We're going to talk to him in a minute. Pat from Scranton has been so patient. I've got to go to her for a minute. Pat, how are you?
Good, Bob. It's your friend Pat from Scranton, LTS.
LTS back at you, brother.
I want to tell you a great story about John Basiliga. I so appreciate the tribute he does to our vets. But I want to tell you a story from many, many years ago when Easter Roofing Systems was first taking off. My then wife and I went to Whistles on Franklin Avenue on a winter night.
Used to love that place.
And a bag lady came in, and she had a broken lens on her glasses, and she looked like she couldn't read the menu or even afford anything on the menu. And I was sitting right next to John. Like I said, all he had at the time was Easter Roofing Systems taking off. And I heard him say, he was sitting right next to me, he leaned over to the lady and said, "Where do you live?" And she said, "In downtown Scranton." And he said, "Do you know where Northeast Die is?" And she said, "Yes." And he said, "If you meet me there tomorrow, I'll buy you a pair of glasses." Wow. And I never, ever forgot that. So the guy does more than pump up his businesses on the show.
Oh, his involvement in the community is beyond reproach. It's amazing. What a beautiful little story, though, Pat.
Yeah, that was a very long time ago, but that shows the character that he has.
Yeah,
and I hope he's listening because he's a wonderful man.
Well, thank you for bringing that to us, Pat. We appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
All right, my man, and thanks for your patience hanging with us to tell us an important story. I love it, love it, love it. And I don't brag about him for fun. I brag about him because it's true. And thanks for Pat for accenting all of that. So talking about this war in the Middle East has so many facets because the Iranians have, from the Houthis to Hamas to Hezbollah, which is centered in Lebanon, proxies. And Brady Knox, he's the foreign affairs reporter. We've had him on before for the Washington Examiner. And he wants to discuss the blurred lines of the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran. And here he is. Brady, welcome back to the Bob Cordaro Show.
Hey, Bob. Thanks for having me.
And I apologize for I had to take that detour, but we're with you now, my man. Tell us about this development and your thoughts on it. Israel looking at Hezbollah as being run directly from Tehran and being no different than the Iranian regime.
Yeah, so to rewind a bit, Hezbollah was founded in the 80s. It was during the second Israeli invasion of Lebanon. That invasion was to stop the PLO from attacking Israel from Lebanon as they were before. But the conditions that the war created allowed the Shias of southern Lebanon to be empowered, and with heavy Iranian support, it's always was directly inspired by the Islamic Revolution in Iran, and also received heavy ideological and material support. They were created and became the new powerhouse in Lebanon. They continued growing throughout the 90s.
And Brady Knox, people forget, Lebanon was a Christian country. It was a beautiful country. Their capital was called the Paris of the Middle East. I mean, it was a beautiful country before these savages took over.
Yeah, it was one of the most promising countries in the Middle East. It was originally intended by the French as sort of Christian Israel because, it had a very large indigenous Christian population there, both the Catholic Maronites and the Orthodox Christians. And so first, the reason why the Civil War started was because the large influx of Palestinian refugees, which upset the demographic balance. Then throughout the Civil War, the Shias, they grew in power. They were historically the disenfranchised and poorest ones. And with, heavy Iranian armaments and support, they were able to emerge from the Civil War as the dominant power. Then when Syria withdrew in 2005, Hezbollah was more powerful than the Lebanese government. And they continued growing after they won against Israel in 2006. Then in the ensuing years, the IRGC continued to heavily supply them with weapons. And so by the time October 7th happened, they were several times more powerful than the actual Lebanese military. They had complete dominance over the south, and they controlled lots of the government. They had veto power over the government, essentially. Then when the Israelis inflicted such heavy losses against them in 2024 through both the Patriot attack and then the assassination of Nasrallah, he was their charismatic leader. So even though it was heavily subsidized by Iran, it was also a genuine, Lebanese Shia political movement. But when the Nasrallah was assassinated, he was a very charismatic figure, and the rest of the military leadership was assassinated. All of their junior commanders were maimed or heavily wounded in the Patriot attack. There really was just no one else to replace that kind of know-how. So Iran then took direct control. They sent hundreds of IRGC advisors. All of their cells are run by the IRGC. So all decision-making comes from Tehran at this point in time.
Wow. Brady Knox is the foreign affairs reporter for the Washington Examiner. We are discussing Hezbollah and its morphing into nothing other than an arm of Tehran. What difference does that make in terms of how Israel approaches this enemy?
So it actually somewhat makes it a bit easier to deal with than before. Even though it was always very closely connected with Tehran, they did have a fair degree of autonomy. They were able to make their own decisions. But now, since it's directly run from Tehran, and Tehran is at its weakest point ever, since the revolution, Israel really views this as its chance to finally take out Hezbollah, because Hezbollah has been their primary national security threat since 2006, when they were unsuccessful in kicking them out of southern Lebanon. So since the two are so closely connected, they believe that if they're able to take out or so thoroughly degrade the regime in Tehran, that Hezbollah will essentially wither away. They do the. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, so when you look at this situation, in 2024, a lot of Lebanon said, hey, Hezbollah, you're bringing this pain upon us, and blame them almost as much as the Israelis for the attacks into southern Lebanon. Is that still the case today? Are people getting that the problem is Hezbollah, not Israel?
Yeah, so you're seeing that pattern. It's actually much more intense now than it was in 2024 because, Israel does have a pretty negative reception in Lebanon, and Hezbollah, they even got some limited support from the Christian and Sunni Muslim population due to their anti-Israel position, where the argument of Hezbollah was, we may not like this, we're not a fan that Iran has so much say in the country, but they act as the primary deterrence to Israel, where Israel can't invade the country again because Hezbollah is there protecting us. But in the war after October 7th, Hezbollah just performed so poorly. I mean, they inflicted something like, I think it was 80 or something casualty or 80 deaths against the IDF, which in comparison, the operation in Gaza against Hamas, that resulted in about 500 IDF deaths. So that's despite Hezbollah being several times more powerful than Hamas. Israeli planners, when they were planning the invasion of Gaza, their main concern was how is Hezbollah going to react because they had so many missiles built up. They had the capabilities to overwhelm their air defenses. But the response was that the Hezbollah's response was just so uncoordinated that Israel was able to isolate and very thoroughly gut them without taking any significant casualties. So since Hezbollah failed in its foremost objective of deterring Israel and being able to resist Israel, they've now lost any popular support they had previously. And so now Hezbollah, so it's a big reason for the heavy corruption in Lebanon that's led to the complete collapse of the economy. One of the reasons why Hezbollah is able to maintain its support among the Shia population is it has so much direct financial support from Iran that even though the rest of the country's economy has collapsed, if you're a member of Hezbollah, it isn't just a paramilitary group. It's also a social welfare organization. Members, they can get welfare. They can get different subsidies. They have much higher standards of living than the others. So when that's cut off, now you're even seeing support among the Shia Lebanese start to fracture because Hezbollah isn't really holding up its end of the bargain.
Brady Knox is our guest. He's the foreign affairs reporter with the Washington Examiner. With the decapitation, and by the way, a lot of people, including President Trump, using the word decimation. Decimation means 1 out of 10. It's an old Roman saying. So it's a misnomer. But with the decapitation of Iran, how are they getting their directives and their money flow, meaning Hezbollah, from Iran under current circumstances?
Yes, that's a big question. The answer to the first part of your question, it's likely an extension of what's called the Mosaic defense strategy, where the 12-day war was so disastrous for Iran. Israel's intelligence was so good that they were able to kill Iran's entire senior leadership, and it was largely listless. So after that, the IRGC commanders came up with a contingency where if that happened again, which of course it did, they would instead delegate all decision-making to local commanders, where they have pre-selected targets, they have a lot of autonomy to make their own decisions, and they left that possibility open. So, of course, since they have once again been decapitated, it's likely that the IRGC commanders in Lebanon, using their previous instructions, they are able to understand what to do without direct communication from Tehran, because we don't even know who's running Iran at this point. There might not be anyone directly running Iran at this point. But as for the financial angle, that's the interesting bit where we actually don't really think that the financial subsidies have been able to go through since the war happened. Israel and the United States have already been cracking down on Hezbollah finances through both sanctions and cyber attacks. At this point, there have been some reports that even the IRGC proper in Iran has missed 1 or 2 payments because the infrastructure has been so significantly degraded that they are not able to process the payments. So it'll be interesting to see as the weeks go on. Israel's planning for a much longer war in Lebanon than it is with Iran. if the payments can't go through, then you could start to see defections or mutinies that Hezbollah fighters aren't as willing to sacrifice themselves because, as ideologically committed as they may be, if you're not getting paid, you can't support your family, you can't support yourself. That's historically when you really see cohesion and discipline start to break.
Brady Knox is our guest, foreign affairs reporter for the Washington Examiner. Is there, in your view, clarity on the end result of all of this at this point? An end. Yeah. I mean, and what does that look like?
I would say, I think purposefully no, where I think that especially in the U.S. end, I think Trump left it partially ambiguous as to what the final end game for the U.S. was. And you'll see it to some extent in Israel, but it's much more the case in the United States, where Trump, especially since he's under, in Israel, Iran has been their existential enemy for decades now. So they have much more political consolidation, especially because they've been on war footing since October 7th, 2023. So even though you'll see some internal dissent, Netanyahu largely has public support to continue the war against Iran. Even Israeli opposition leaders like Yair Lapid, he said that his criticism of Netanyahu is that the war isn't being conducted effectively enough. So everyone's pretty much in agreement that Iran needs to be eliminated. In the United States, it's a lot more ambiguous, where, Trump's base has largely been united behind the war. But over time, as you see, especially if the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz continues and you see that impact on gas prices, Trump is going to start incurring more and more of a political cost to the war. So I think he intentionally left the final objectives vague, where he has an out to declare victory. Because really at this point, if he wanted to, he could declare victory and then just end the war. I mean, he's killed Iran's entire leadership. He's destroyed most of their ballistic missile capabilities, their drone capabilities. The Navy is gone. The Air Force is gone. So by traditional military calculations, this has been a victory. But it's a matter of how totally wants that to be, where if, he still wants to pursue regime change, if he thinks that this is worth the possible political costs in the midterms, that he could take Iran out once and for all. There's the choice of escalation versus de-escalation. There are a lot of choices he'll have to make in the ensuing days as to where the war will go.
Fascinating. Brady Knox, thank you very much for checking in. We look forward to talking to you again as this entire situation develops. We appreciate it, and we look forward to talking to you.
Hey, Bob, always happy to come on. Thanks for having me.
All right, Brady Knox, Washington Examiner. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. In this time of conflict, we think even more about our veterans who were prepared to do whatever it took. And I direct you to something we read quite often, but it's time to read it again. It's the plaque outside of the Bloomsburg VFW, or Bloomsburg Legion, I apologize. What is a veteran? A veteran, whether active duty, discharged, retired, or reserve, is someone who at one point in his or her life wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America and its people for an amount of up to and including his or her life. This hour's tribute brought to you by John Basiliga and the amazing Basiliga Hospitality Group. Joseph Farver, Berwick. He was 71 when we lost him, March 11th. Born in Danville, graduate of Columbia Montour Vocational Technical School, Bloomsburg, class of 74. After graduation, he served in the Army National Guard for years. He worked at a number of local businesses, most recently Heinz, which was later Del Monte Pet Foods, for more than 35 years. Life member of the West Berwick Hose Company, #1. He loved collecting coins, stamps. He loved to fish. He loved his cats. Joe leaves behind a son, 5 cherished grandchildren, sisters, and many other family members. Joseph Farver. Our Veterans Tribute brought to you this hour, as always, by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality Group, consisting of the great Old Brook Inn, where I was last night, and it was awesome. The Far Street Tavern, the reimagined neighborhood institution in the Trips Park section of West Scranton. The Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. All of them are tremendous. And then fine dining, yeah, we got that. A Terra 519, a modern take, an amazing restaurant. Can't wait to get there this weekend. The Stegmeyer Mansion in downtown Wilkes-Barre. Picture yourself in a mansion in Newport, Rhode Island, only you get the best of food and drink and luxury. Sergei's the nightclub. They'll be hopping all weekend. That's your Basiliga Hospitality Group, growing and getting better. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain Resorts, who are all swinging into spring. Yeah, we know you can't ski, but Montage is a year-round destination. But it's in the city of Scranton, right up Montage Mountain Road. You got to check it out at all times of the year. I love that Slocum Hollow Lodge, and don't forget about the Wagyu burger. It's as good as you're going to get anywhere. AccuWeather tells us today, breezy and cooler, cloudy this morning, then a blend of sun and clouds in the afternoon, high of 45. It's only 38 at Montage Mountain right now. Tonight, clear and colder, breezy late, down to 21. Tomorrow's a chilly, sort of blah, blah day. Breezy and chilly with intervals of clouds and sun, an afternoon shower in spots. High 42, low 27. Sunday, it's getting better. Partial sunshine, 56. Monday, some sun, then turning cloudy with a shower in places in the afternoon, but it's going to get up to 61 degrees, the low only 49. Tuesday looks like full warm-up for April. Thick cloud cover and warmer, 72 degrees, the low 60. That's a good low. And that's your weather, brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain Resorts. Me and the Bulldog are dancing now. Yeah, that's the disgrace himself. Day 102, Biden banner disgrace, stolen valor. The Green Ridge Neighborhood Association put up a hometown hero banner designed for veterans. And Joe Biden was a dodger. He dodged multiple chances to serve. He did not serve. And putting up a banner, a hometown hero banner, in honor of his military service when there was none is a disgrace, Green Ridge Neighborhood Association. Take the banner down. You can embarrass yourself all you want associating with that piece of garbage, but don't debase our veterans. Biden banner disgrace, stolen valor, day 102. Well, while I'm fired up, let's go to Bob from Dunmore on the Archibald data centers. How are you, Bob?
Good afternoon. Bob, I hope all the people in our Archibald all the good luck in telling them people to go back home to Texas and leave our landscape alone. And by the way, there's a reservoir up of the hill behind Archibald. It's bone dry already. They didn't even do anything. There's no water in it.
Well,
I don't know if you're aware of it. And how about the water tank they built along the KZ Highway? What kind of water are they going to have to use? What are they going to do, drain Lake Scranton?
That's been talked about, and I think that is insane.
Yeah, they're going to empty Lake Scranton out. We lived with good water all our lives, and here we are. We got to worry about somebody from Texas coming and ruining your property value and taking our resources away from us. And leave them go back to Texas.
Bob, I'll say this, and I want to say it on the record continually because it's important. By the time these data centers are built and operational, they will be obsolete. There'll be new technology to crunch AI and its information needs at much lower costs of water and power. And I think this is a fool's errand. And it doesn't get the information to us any faster. We'll be missing out on nothing. We'll be missing out on nothing if they don't build
Bob,
them here.
Let me tell you, I hope all the luck to Archibald residents and send them back to Texas.
All right,
They can
brother.
go back home to Texas where they belong.
All right, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it,
Okay.
Bob. Okay,
Thanks,
man.
Bob.
Let's go to Jim from Harding. Hey, Jim. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. I'll make this quick because I know it's getting to the end there. You remember way back when that White House press secretary, Pierre, said she couldn't keep up with Joe Biden?
Yeah.
No.
I didn't notice she was in a walker, though.
No, what it is, it was eating at me forever and ever. And then suddenly, the other day, I realized what she meant. I guess she was the one changing his diaper. She couldn't keep up with it.
That's about right, Jim. That's
That's
about
all
right, brother. All right, thank
Hey,
you.
you have a nice weekend.
Appreciate it, my friend. You too. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We will return. Gary Wright. Murph says he moved up to number 2 this date, 1976, with his hit Dream Weaver. Bob Cordaro back with you on the eponymous program. And he's been very patient with us, so let's get to our man Joe from Berwick. Hey, Joe, we got a couple minutes.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. Hey, there's a couple of things I wanted to comment on. First of all, when you look at what just happened again with an 83-year-old man being pushed into the tracks by an illegal alien,
Yep.
and what happened in Chicago, here's the first thing. If Republicans are not smart enough to actually use all of this to there's two ways you win an election. Give people a reason to vote for you, or give people a reason to vote against the other party.
Yep.
If they're not smart enough to even use this to give people a reason not to vote Democrat, okay, then they don't deserve to win. I mean, it'd be absurd at this point if they can't do that.
There's no
But
reason there's no rational reason to vote for a Democrat candidate. When we look locally at like Paige Cognetti, when we look statewide at Josh Shapiro, there's no reason to vote for these people that makes any sense.
Well, but even now, even them, and I agree. Although they do a very good job of disassociating themselves with the left wing, even though we know that they're not. But it aside from giving a reason not to vote Democrat, which they should be able to do, when you talk about motivating people and getting people out to vote. The other part is giving people a reason to vote for them. And that's kind of the more troubling part as to whether or not they're even doing that. Now, clearly Trump won because people came out to vote just for him. He gave people a reason to want to vote for him. And that's kind of what we're looking at here. And that's what I thought of when I thought about this
We've
whole
got to
issue
encourage normal people to vote in droves this fall because the country is at stake. It truly is. They just had terrorist sympathizers in Philadelphia saying for every soldier who returns home in a casket from the Middle East, we cheer. The Democrat Party is a party of mental illness and nothing better than that. It's sad. Thank you, Joe. My Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 11:50 on the nose, and that means Bloomberg. I don't know. The Bulldog told me he likes Forrest Gump, and he played those clips because he feels really smart when he does it. I don't know what he means by that, but hey, Murph tells us the Eagles performed their show in Des Moines, Iowa, featuring a set, and you're listening to it, country artist Vince Gill. Boy, he does a good version. Take It Easy. This date, 2018. We're going to finish with Ocean, because back in 1971, they were moving up the charts with their hit, Put Your Hand in the Hand. And you're going to love it, and you're going to remember it. Somebody says, Hunk of Burning Love brings me back to 1978, the Albright on Thursday night. Women with long cigarettes looking for love or lust. And Harrison Barnes and the Sound Machine kicking out that song. I love it. Absolutely funny. Bob, according to the Green Ridge Facebook page, they have no intention of taking the banner down. Many posts suggest they feel he deserves it. They are idiots. Yes, they are. Absolute stupid fools. Yeah, he served in the military. He carried a gun. Yep. That's cabinet guy. Well, we'll see, but then we'll just continue. I don't care. And we're going to continue to name names. We'll see how it goes. Look at you have to understand, these are dummy-crats. The majority of that Green Ridge Neighborhood Association, they'll vote to destroy their own families to vote Democrat. So you got to remember, there's a special kind of stupid that's headquartered in Green Ridge section of Scranton. You got to remember that. I mean, what do you think? It would be easy to convince a truly stupid person that they're stupid? They would require self-awareness, which they don't have. It would require at least a nodding acquaintance with fact, truth, and reality, which they don't have. So we'll just keep going. That's okay. We'll call them out as fools. They need that. They really do. As we wrap up with Hand in the Hand, we wrap up as we always do. Quick mention of our veterans, brought to you by John Basiliga. Patrick Welk, South Abington. Dominic Steffen, Pittston. And Joseph Farver, Berwick. Thank you to them and their families. It is Friday. Let's think about our cops. They'll be out there creating the thin blue line that protects us from savagery. The policeman's prayer sent to me by my man, Nicky DeSando. Lord, bless the ones who wear the badge, the ones who walk the beat, protect and keep them safe while they are on the street. As they wait and as they watch, doing good for all, guide their minds and give them strength for each and every call. Ready to put their lives on the line, give them courage each day. Let them know you're always there in each and every way. So bless the ones who wear the badge. Protect them from harm. Always keep them safe and in your loving arms. Tomorrow never comes. Reach out to somebody this weekend that you haven't talked to in a while, maybe that you're cross at. Give it a try, would you? This great poem, Tomorrow Never Comes, by Norma Cornett Merrick, found in the obituary of the late, great Doreen Goriev. If I knew it would be the last time I'd see you walk out the door, I'd give you a hug and kiss and call you back for just one more. If I knew it would be the last time, I would spare an extra minute or two to stop and say I love you instead of assuming you know I do. So just in case tomorrow never comes and today is all I get, I'd like to say how much I love you and hope we will never forget. Tomorrow is not promised to anyone, young or old alike, and today may be the last chance you get to hold your loved one tight. So if you're waiting for tomorrow, why not do it today? For if tomorrow never comes, you'll surely regret the day that you didn't take that extra time for a smile, a hug, or a kiss, and you were too busy to grant someone what turned out to be their final wish. So hold your loved ones close today and whisper in their ear. Text them, call them, let them know you care and that you love them very much. You'll always hold them dear. Take time to say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Or it's okay. And if tomorrow never comes, you'll have no regrets about today. Guys, have a great weekend. You don't know, I can't describe how much I loved being with you this week. God willing, I'll be back at 9 a.m. Monday morning. Have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. Have a fun weekend. Have a peaceful weekend. And all of those, if you could fit it in. But for now, Sue Henry's she's bursting through the door. So I got to go. Rob O'Donnell after that. Have a great one, guys. But we adjourn this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. Adios.